Hi guys, it's Ray. I'm going to do a quick geode mold because I've been working with these colors already and I still have a little bit of each left over, so I figured I would continue on and use them up. I am going to obviously add more epoxy to all of these, but this one is a paint, Hocus Pocus by Treasures by the Sea. Now, using paint for the geode, it won't be as translucent when it's done. It'll be translucent in parts and not other parts. This one is Imperial, also Treasures by the Sea. I have some white, which is just an Alumilite dye. I have a little bit of gray, which is the black and white Alumilite dye mixed together. I'm going to have a glitter layer, which is Silver Dollar from the Glitter Heart Company. And I am going to have some silver leaf, which is this silver leaf that I bought on Amazon. I am not paid to sponsor any of these products. They're just what I chose to use, so I'm showing you what I am using. So I'm going to hurry up and mix up some more of each of this. I mixed a big batch of Pro Marine for this project. It's kind of bubbly right now because it's a little bit cold to be working with epoxy today. I'm hoping that tomorrow's a little bit warmer because I do have some cups I need to prep. So hopefully I can get to those. I do have a measurement on how much epoxy these molds actually take. I just can't remember off the top of my head. I actually poured water in them and measured it out. I wrote it down somewhere. So hopefully I mixed up enough. If not, it'll be a little thin. Now, I'm not necessarily going to add a ton more paint because I kind of like the translucent look on this. I realized I forgot to turn my light on. There. Hopefully that's a little better and not too bright. So I'm going to leave it like that. That one anyways. I'm going to mix this one quick. Again, these were from 2 other projects I just did. I'm just going to carry on and keep using the same. Some white. This one's a little bit more opaque than translucent, but it'll be fine. I think this one was the gray. Again, more opaque, but that's fine. Okay, this one is the silver flakes. This I'm going to add some more. That's how they look in the container. Just grab. I don't really want that much. You can buy silver leaf, gold leaf sheets. I bought this to try. That piece will do it. And so far, I really like them. There's a ton in each container. They perform the way I'd expect. As you mix it in the epoxy, it breaks down, so you don't really have to worry about sorting the sheets too much, like picking it apart before you add it. You can see that it breaks itself apart. And I'm going to add more glitter to this one. I'm going to pour this fairly quickly in rings around so they all match up somewhat. I'm going to start with my center circle, which will be the silver leaf. And if I find that it's too much, I can add a little bit more of that plain epoxy. Okay. Kind of tuck it in a little bit more towards the middle. Epoxy is self-leveling, so this will all move a little bit on its own. But for now, that can sit like that. I'm going to do this darker purple across the outer stretch. Hopefully I have enough to get all the way. If not, I can make some more. Okay, I'm going to have to whip up a little bit more of that. So it might not be as opaque this time, or more opaque. It's such a beautiful color. I'm just going to get a tiny bit on my stick. Pretty close. They'll mix together though, and it'll be fine. This is why it's okay to overmix your epoxy a little bit, so you have some extra for oopsies, making more, whatever. And do a little bit of white around the silver leaf. And maybe along the edge of that purple. There's no rhyme or reason, there's no right or wrong. I'm going to do gray inside the top white line. This mold is fairly level. Probably not 100% perfect, but it is sitting on a board, so I can easily pick it up and move it out of this workspace, because I work in the tiniest space and don't really have room. I'm going to do a thick ring of this beautiful purple. This one is called Hocus Pocus. Okay, and I'm going to go in with the glitter in between those. And my lines got a little wonky, but it's fine. Nothing in nature is perfect. Try and get as much out as I can. So I'm going to run a tiny bit of the gray, because I have more of the gray, And these are fairly shallow so far. A little bit of gray there. Might put a little bit more in here. It's okay if they're shallow, but you do want them kind of consistent. So I do think I want to mix up a little bit more of the darker purple, but I've got plenty of epoxy left to do that. I'm also going to put some of this clear right in the center. Maybe let the center push out a bit. It's okay if it goes up over the lines a little bit while you're pouring, because when these are done and demolded, they're going to have to get cleaned up anyways. And I'm going to take a silver paint pen and run along the edge to give it a silver band around the side. So again, tiny bit. Not a lot. It doesn't take much. Can tell I'm short on my measurement. I thought I might be, but I didn't want to over mix a ton because I don't necessarily have time to do anything else right now. And I hate to waste a lot of epoxy. Got one little stubborn spot on this one that's not filling in. Okay. I'm just going to put a little more white on that edge too. It's okay if it overlaps. I'm going to hit it with a little heat and swirl it together a little bit anyways, so it doesn't just look like rings. I'll run a little tiny bit of the gray also right over that last line of white. Okay, I am going to take these gloves off because they are sticky. I'm going to put this silver leaf top back on so it doesn't blow all over the room. And you need to be careful using heat around your molds. They say you really shouldn't use a torch on your molds, but I do. You don't want to melt them, and you don't want to melt them into your epoxy. So if you use heat from a torch, move it fast and not for very long. Okay, I'm going to take just a little skewer. I'm going to actually break it in half. And I'm going to drag in because I don't want to push the gold leaf too far. And after the first couple, when it got built up a bit, I am wiping it off quick on the paper that this is sitting on. I just have the mold sitting on a pine board so I can move it. So, and it doesn't matter how many. It's got a little piece of a stick in there. You can do it this way, or you can swirl For this one though, I think I want this. I'm going to hit it with a heat gun too, so it's actually going to move it a little bit anyways, so the lines are going to be less defined. And this will be ready to pop out of the mold tomorrow sometime. I can tell that my mold is a little off center that way. I will level it a little bit better when I move it to where I'm going to let it cure. Alright, I'm going to hit it with the heat gun. A little bit of noise. I'm trying to push it back into that dark purple some. I'm also trying to push some of the bubbles to the top. Put some direct heat on this line. And then a little bit of direct around this band. Okay, I'm not really loving that, so I'm going to go back in this part and swirl. I don't want to lose all of my light purple, but and I'm going to do the same, the opposite direction, just because, across this part. And that is how I am going to leave it to do its thing. I'll show you this set when they come out. Obviously they're going to be different colors and they're not going to be quite as translucent because they were paint, not inks. But they will be 4 coasters that are a part of a mold. Now, these, when they're demolded, you can decide if you like the top part, which this was actually the face down part, and this was the face up when I poured it. You can decide which side you prefer. If you leave the feet off of them, you can use them either direction. Alright, so please feel free to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you.